This is Liz with Crafty Devotion. Today we'll be making another part and element to these flowers. We'll make this one, and we'll make some of this one, and I'll explain it to you. And these flowers, they have the layers of the flowers that we have been making in this beginner series of no-sew flowers. These close-up photos are photos of flowers that I have designed from the flowers we have been making on this video series and a couple of more future video series. Plus there are some photos from items that I have made that are available on my Etsy page. I hope you are inspired today. One of the first things I want you to do is I want you to cut a strip of cardboard, and it needs to be 1 1/4 inches wide. The length is not as important as the width, so it'll come out approximately like this. When you're making these flowers, you will need sheer fabric, something like this. It's very sheer. When you're gonna wrap this, I want you to leave a little bit off the edge. I keep on forgetting to do that, and then I have to rewrap it. And then you're just gonna wrap. You're gonna just flip it around and just keep I usually just keep this edge even and let the rest fall into place so that there's at least one even side. You see that? I'm just turning it, keeping it even. See that? I have several. I'm not going to go through this too many times because I found that I tried to record this video earlier and it takes a very long time. So this is approximately about 4 inches wide. I haven't made a 4-inch one. That's why I'm showing you the 4-inch one. We want to see what happens to it. The ones below that are using this fabric are more of a 3-inch, and there's a couple of 2 inches. And I showed you in a previous video how to cut this, and there you go. This particular video is going into more advanced. I told you they would get more difficult as we go. That's because the reason why this one is advanced, even though it's easy, is because working with this thin fabric is a lot more difficult. More detailed instructions are available in my previous videos. I hope you will take the time to review those, and please tell your friends about these tutorials. Subscribe and share. Thank you. And let's see, center, and we go. Now I'm also going to show you another tool that I figured that works also almost just as well as this one does, but it has different features to it that you have to think about when you're using it. I love the hairpins because when you put them on, it stays on and it doesn't really flop around too much even when you're using this thin fabric. So you try to make sure it's partially even. Some of my flowers may not look completely even to you when I finish with them because I am doing this a bit rapidly and not taking a whole lot of time on them. Here you go. Now here, when you put this on, put it through the center. This helps to keep it centered and to stay on. You wrap it around and we knot it. I've shown you this procedure before in our previous videos. I will try my best to stay in camera with this very first one. The others I may drop it down a little bit. Okay. Oh, this looks a little bit off, and if it's not centered, this is a good time to move it a little. You can still move it more when even after you tie it, it'll still move. I think the thing that's the most difficult to move probably are when you do laces, things that tear easily. This does not tear easily, so it should work. Okay, this is a 12-inch, is long, 4 inches wide, of a very thin curtain fabric. This fabric must have polyester in it because it melts very well. And do you see how fast that was made? Very easy. And I actually needed one to put underneath one of my other, so this would go beautiful under here maybe, flowers. So now that's done. I'm going to do another one, but I've already rolled it up. This particular one is the same fabric, but it is 18 to 20 inches long. it's still 4 inches wide. The ones below you are 3 inches. The ones that are ready, we made last time, and that are down below that I made before, they're approximately 3 inches wide. So you could even cut a 4-inch piece smaller if you wish. But I want you to see the difference in these when you put more fabric in them. Now when you're wrapping the one with more fabric, don't try to make it all even, because that takes away from the beauty of what it creates. And let's see, this one is very large, and I usually grab the back, and you see how I kind of made it kind of loose. If it looks fine loose, then leave it loose. If it doesn't look fine loose, then adjust it. But for me, I think this one looks fine. I want you to compare the two. This one, look at all the layers it has in it. This was the 18 inches long. This one was, I think it was 10 or 12 inches long. You see the differences? Okay, now over here I'll show you the difference, but with the 3 inch material fabric. You see the fabric here? This is it. This is a layer of a circle flower we did last time, and I layered it. Okay, then when you make it shorter, it looks more like this bottom one. It's flat and easier to layer, but it depends on what you're doing. Okay, the next one I'm going to show you is this is also a sheer curtain fabric. Let me show you the fabric. You see that? That's how sheer it is. And this one actually came off of one of the wedding dresses that I got. And it was very, it had a lot of this fabric on it. Didn't have very many appliques, but it had a lot of this fabric. And it makes the most beautiful, beautiful flowers. So any sheer fabric, a fabric you might find on a thin spring scarf, or a panel that you might have for from a curtain. Look how simple that was. So simple and so beautiful. So beautiful. And you can layer it. You see this one right here? This is the organza I'm going to show you next. And this is the same flower that I just made here, but it's a little bit smaller than this one. So you can layer them that way. Most of the flowers down below that you see, I have layered. Now, this is the same fabric as these other two flowers I just made, but guess what? This one is really small, and I want you to see the difference. It's a little bit less than 2 inches, approximately 2 inches. I already set it up and prepared it for us, and I will put it on. And this is all for the sake of time. I found I was really running out of time when I was doing this earlier. Like right now, I've showed all that I've showed you. It's already 10 minutes. So I want to be able to show you some of these things and the tricks to working with the fabric. Okay, so this is smaller. So smaller might be harder to work with. But sometimes you would want smaller, because I'll show you some of the other flowers where I have a smaller one that I've layered on the bottom, and then this one goes on top. So this one, look how little that is. So here's the same, teeny tiny and large. Well, you can see them when I compare them to each other, right? So this would look lovely on top if you want that color with a beautiful center. But here you can see a smaller one with a larger lace, and the lace we will be learning later on. Here on this one, I layered one of the circle ones that we made, and I put one of the ones I just made right here, and then I put on top something like this, but a slightly different color. And when you're putting this on, if this, that's the time when I adjust all these pieces when I'm putting them together. If it looks off a little bit, I just adjust it. But that is how easy it is to make the flowers. So simple, dimple. And if you don't put the petals on them, they'll come out circular. Okay, now I want to show you the organza next. This is how beautiful it comes out. This one is actually from fabric. this one's from fabric. It just looks, look at that, how beautiful and how easy these were. But with the organza one, I'll show you the other clip that I use. This is the new gadget number 2. It works very well when you use this actual gadget. The only difference between the other one, I mean, there are more than one difference, but you must, the other one's optional whether you put it on first. This one, you must put it on first, right here in the center between. Now, there are a lot of different kinds of hair clips. This particular hair clip actually has an opening here in the center. There's other hair clips that you might be able to use that do not have that opening. So make sure, especially with the organza, to make it come out here because it helps in removing it from the cardboard. Just with I usually wrap these around my fingers when I'm making a quick flower. I don't really use a cardboard, but actually the cardboard seems to simplify it. And I like the way the cardboard does it because I tried it different ways, and it what happened was that it would move a lot. Oh, I forgot to tell you that too. Working with organza, it moves so much. Let a hairpin be your friend at this point. And I'm just doing this really fast. Sometimes I'm more detailed. But right now I'm trying to go quickly just so that you can get the most in that we can. I'll use the same clip. Do you see that? You can barely see that. It's so sheer. But here we go. See this end piece? It's off. Just cut that thing off. So I have the string in. There we go. And see, this one is a little bit more difficult to pull down because it has the 2 prongs there. But there's other things that are better about it. It's bigger, easier to handle. And when you're done here, it makes things, you can make things a little more centered. It's easier when you're actually tying your knot. Now, let's see. I'm gonna bring it down because this is long enough where it begins to. There. Can you see that? I'll hold it here. See that? Okay. Now, when you have your string around it, always pull it first over the top because this keeps it down for you. Okay. And then I just bring it down towards the table and I knot. Just like you do with the pin. I knot it, see? And then here I remove it. And then I just make it extremely tight as I can. Don't worry about how it looks because that's the beauty of these roses, is that they form and fall in a way that makes them have this unique beauty of nature, like when a flower is opening up and has different ways that it opens. And you can, this particular one, you see how pretty the layers are? Look how pretty. So you can, this particular one, how I made it, you can actually flatten it a little bit if you want, or you can kind of puff it up for it to get a little fuller. This is just beautiful. Let me put a center in it so you can see that. See how beautiful that is? Oh my goodness. So easy. And this is a 3-inch organza ribbon. You can do other ribbons. Here's the ribbon so you can see it. All right. This is Liz with Crafty Devotion. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you. And next time I will show you more of laces. You see some laces down below. I put them there for your benefit because I have combined the flowers. Here's some satin. Here's some lace. There's more lace on top. Isn't that beautiful?